getting to the point, but taking the scenic route to get there. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
Good afternoon to you and yours. It is The Bottom Line on 100.7 The Score, 107thescore.com, TSportsNetwork.com, and the 100.7 The Score mobile app. I am clearly not Joyce Woodman. You can tell because I am me, Jeff McGuire, filling in for Joyce today as he's on the road with the Red Raider football team. That is not Chris Need. That is, in fact, one Jamie Lent. As I imagine that you have shifted your schedule around today early and hanging out with us for the first 2 hours of the program because Red Raider baseball is continuing the Red and Black series today at 3.
What?
Call that a hunch.
Am I that predictable?
Well, it was either that or a girls' basketball game, but they don't start yet.
No, they do not.
So I took a swing, and clearly I hit that one out of the park on a good winded day.
Yes.
Wind-aided day.
Yes.
Don't expect that today at Danlow Field.
Good.
Kind of a nice day outside, really.
Beautiful. It was really nice yesterday for the game as well.
Ben Portman across the way, sliding slides, pushing buttons for us on the program. Get your thoughts in on the Yates Learning Center chat line at the 100.7 Score mobile app or at TSportsNetwork.com. You can also give us a call on the Visual Edge IT hotline, 806-771-0973. We're going to start with this today because it's kind of breaking news-ish. Texas Rangers looking for a new pitching coach. And I am putting my foot down and do not like this. Mike Maddux taking a job apparently with the Los Angeles Angels. He was offered a job on staff. I have been a huge fan of Mike Maddux since he was with the Rangers the first time around. Of the 10 total years that he has been with the Rangers, 8 of them have led to non-losing seasons. That's a pitching coach you want to keep around.
Yeah, and a guy that I feel like the veterans really like, a guy that those guys respect, and he obviously has plenty of skins on the wall over the years, but it's a group that has become comfortable with him, and obviously he did great things with the Rangers missing the playoffs this year had nothing to do with the pitching. It was way, way, way more about the offensive struggles, and so Maddux and his guys did their job, and I think this is, I'm not saying he's the best pitching coach in the history of ever. I don't know. He's a really good one, but
he's got to be in the top 10 though.
I don't know, but I feel like it's a blow to the Rangers. I definitely do. I feel like, again, that group that they had, and they kind of working well together, kind of a deal. It's a bit of a step back to have to bring somebody different in.
Yeah. I look at this as we also don't know what the Rangers pitching staff is going to look like.
True.
We've got an offseason to go through. I don't know that Jacob deGrom is going to be a pitcher for the Rangers next year. And I say that because...
Well, you think he's going to be a hitter?
No, I think you could trade him at his high value and get something more for him than what you've got invested. If the Rangers make that kind of decision, he would be a very valuable piece for somebody after what he accomplished last year. And you've got some young guys coming up in your minor league system that have had some shots. Rocker is one of them.
So do you feel like the Rangers are going to go into rebuild mode?
I could see it split either way. This is a wild card edition of the offseason that I think the Rangers going into. They could go rebuild, they could go reload. And I don't know which way they're going to go, what the general manager, what the owners have said with regards to where the salary needs to be for the entire staff and see and the entire team, what that looks like, if they've given permission to go after some free agents or if they've got to cut payroll. We won't find that out until the winter meetings, which are about a month and a half away or so, something like that.
Yeah, I don't feel like the Rangers are a team right now or organization that's considering cutting payroll, feeling like it's necessary. I feel like you have some high-priced offensive players. You have some high-priced pitchers, no doubt about it. You just got to get better pieces around them that make this thing work a little bit better so you're more balanced. And does that mean you could move a pitcher or two to help your offense? Yeah, sure, that's possible. But, man, those guys are hard to find when it comes to, great starting pitchers. And so I wouldn't move too many of them. And injuries happen as well. So I would just think the Rangers need to be active in the free agent market trying to improve their offense. And also hope that some of these guys that had,
disastrous years,
down years, kind of bounce back.
It was definitely not a fun year to be a Rangers fan and watch the inept offense. It wasn't even like if they weren't hitting home runs, they weren't scoring. They just weren't hitting. Mm-hmm. It wasn't even not hitting home runs. It was not doing anything with it. And, we were very closely watching what Josh was doing all season long because, we're
interested. Mm-hmm.
And his struggles were well documented. And at the end of the year, he was still third on the team in batting average? As much as he struggled, I want to say he was like second or third in batting average on the team at the end of the year. So it started out bad for everybody but Josh, and then Josh fell off a cliff and still ended up okay, I think is how the actual numbers fell.
Yeah, I think he only had 2 or 3 guys on the team that hit above like 245.
Yeah.
Josh being one of them. And I don't think there was anybody that hit above 260. So you got to get better offensively. And I know Major League Baseball has changed, and we've talked all about the fact that there's only 7 or 8 guys in the entire league that hit above 300 last year. But you got to find ways to get guys on base a little bit more.
Yeah.
You can't play for the 3-run homer if you can't get 2 guys on base.
Yeah, it makes it very hard to do that.
No.
You can get the solo shots. And when your pitching staff was as good as they were last year, a lot of times that would have been enough. But they weren't perfect, and it feels a little rude to ask them to be for as good as they were leading Major League Baseball in ERA. I want to say they were they were third in walks, and it wasn't even just doing it with strikeouts because their strikeout numbers were bottom third, just above the bottom third of Major League Baseball. They ranked 19th, so they were absolutely keeping your defenders going in the back, letting them make some plays and extend some innings as opposed to just wasting pitches on strikeouts. I say wasting pitches on a strikeout because it's still not an out. But the concept being that you were really, really good on the mound, and 1 or 2 runs would have been enough to win a bunch of games. You just couldn't figure that out. Mm-hmm. And it also felt like you couldn't manufacture anything either. That balance is a lost art in baseball, and that's sad because when you got a team that I'm waiting for the pendulum to swing back. There's going to be a team in baseball, and it could be Moneyball-esque type swing where it's I'm not going to worry about guys hitting 30 or 40 home runs. Give me 10 guys that hit 10 to 15 but are just absolute monsters on getting on base and manufacturing runs and can get steal bases and can put sacrifice bunts down, and we're just going to agitate the heck out of every pitcher we face.
Yeah, I think the way to do it is to have some of that. Like I think the Blue Jays have some of that, but they also have some power bats too.
Yeah.
You got to be able to mix it in together. I think they've done a terrific job with that. And that's why they're 1 win away from winning the World Series.
Bringing you the truth, or something like the truth. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
It is the Bottom Line, 100.7 The Score, DoubleTSportsNetwork.com, and the 100.7 The Score mobile app coming up in 30 minutes. We will get into what may be the craziest state in the union now. 15 minutes from now, each one of us is going to give you one thing the Texas Tech Red Raider football team must do in Manhattan tomorrow to get a win. And you can't just say score more points in Kansas State. But right now, we're going to completely shift gears and have Jamie pick up all of his colored pens and discuss the Red and Black series, which the Black team has already won. Like, the series is over, right?
It is over.
I mean, the red team can...
they're playing another game.
They're playing another game,
but
right.
the winner has been determined. I shouldn't say it's over. The winner has been determined.
They are trying to salvage one of the 3 games for the red side today. I asked you this earlier. You didn't have you guessed it an answer, and I'm going to let you share that guess again on who selected this team if you had to guess.
I bet that the coaching staff put it together because, let's just say, they want to see certain guys play in certain positions, and so they want to make sure that everybody's split up. For example, if you have 2 third basemen, you want to make sure they're not on the same team.
Yeah.
Okay, right?
That would help.
Right? And, so on and so forth. So a certain number of guys that catch on either team or whatever. So I bet they did their best to split them up. That would be my guess.
And you've had one extremely high-scoring game that the Lubbock Wind decided to help a bunch with, and then a really tight game as well.
Yeah, 12-11, so
it's tight.
Yeah.
And then you had, I guess the way to describe this would be the Davis River Show?
Yeah, yesterday was a 4-1 game going to the 6th inning, and they played 8 innings last night, yesterday afternoon, I should say. So make it, yeah, so they go to the 6th, and Rivers hits his second home run of the day, which was a 2-run shot to make it a 4-3 game. And then he comes back up in the next inning, and his team is at that point up a run at 5-4, and with 2 outs, he hits a 3-run shot. And so they just kind of added on there at the end, and Rivers had a big day. And a game where they were losing 4-1, all of a sudden they were ahead 8-4. Rivers was terrific. You saw, good power yesterday. Carter Williams, the freshman, hit one out to left field that was a big bomb as well, so that was nice to see. Lincoln Garcia continues to impress. He had 3 hits again yesterday after homering in the first game. So it wasn't just Davis Rivers, but there were a lot of guys. Connor Schaus had a couple of hits, single and a double. So a lot of guys were swinging the bats well.
When you're at the ballpark and you're watching this team right now, what are you really enjoying seeing from this team that may have been missing before?
I think they're playing much cleaner baseball than we saw the last 2 seasons. And Coach Tadlock has bounced around different guys at different positions to try to figure it out. And I think right now, I don't know that I would not say that he has settled on an infield, but I think you're going to see Tracer Lopez move from second base to third base.
Okay.
He looks like your best defender at third base. Maybe doesn't have quite the arm as others, but he's way more solid defensively fielding, okay? Although yesterday he made a diving play behind the bag and hopped up in foul territory and got the guy out over at first base. That was pretty impressive. So
I will take a guy who can get to the ball. If I only have to pick one, either have the cannon to get it to first or be able to get to the ball, I'll take get to the ball 10 times out of 10.
Get to the ball and field it cleanly. Yeah. And so he's played a bunch of different guys at third, second, and shortstop. And again, I'm not saying that he's settled on like, okay, this is what we're going to start with February 13th, who's we're going to be. I would predict, however, that Connor Schaus, who had been playing third base, will be your starting second baseman. I would predict that Tracer will be the starter at third base, and I would predict that Lincoln Garcia, the freshman, will be your starter at shortstop, who is one of your best offensive players. So I think that's the route you will go in a time where maybe you're late in the game and you have a lead. Mm-hmm. I would imagine Coleman Ryan, who continues to improve at the plate but continues to be really good defensively, I think you'll see Coleman maybe in the game late a lot of times to play defense.
Okay.
So, infield defense, third and shortstop is to me an area where you wanted to get better. And I think they definitely have. Hopefully that transitions to the regular season.
This off the H. Flowing Center chat line from Resident Aggie asking, has Logan Addison pitched in this series so far?
Logan pitched in game 1. He came in with his team up a run in the last inning, and he went 1, 2, 3.
Nice.
A strikeout and maybe a ground ball and a couple of lazy flyouts. But he was, the difference in Logan right now compared to last year is fastball command. He's able to throw strikes a lot more consistently than he was a year ago, which you see from so many freshmen. He's just able to repeat his delivery, and he throws harder than anybody on the team. I think he'll hit 98 for you.
Oh, wow.
And he's mixing in a nice slider with it as well. But he's just more consistent at throwing strike one and throwing his 98-mile-an-hour pitch for a strike, which before it was fast, but we didn't know where it was going. Yeah, and he didn't know where it was going. And so right now he's able to do that, and because of that, if he continues to be as consistent as he has been this fall, I'd be surprised if he's not your ninth inning guy. He's got the makeup for it, and it's just a matter of him being consistent. So he's looked good. He really has. He's taken a big step from last year. I know that Coach Merriman and Coach Foster think very highly of his stuff, and that could be a key factor for you.
I know that it's really hard when you're facing in a scrimmage like this to answer this next question. So if you don't have an answer, perfectly acceptable for that. Is there something you're not seeing yet from this team that you kind of want to see in the fall?
I'd like to see probably say more strikeouts from your pitching staff. I think the hard part here is that everybody knows when a hitter sees a pitcher, he gains information, and so the next time he faces them, it's a little bit easier, whatever. And sometimes they go back and forth with their battles, but when you go through the course of the fall and you face a pitcher over a month-and-a-half stretch 15 or 17 times, that's an advantage to the hitter. And so I think that's why – I think that's part of the reason why you're not seeing – a ton of strikeouts. Lucas Perko had 4 and 2 innings yesterday. Dylan Blakey had 3 and 2 innings. I'm trying to think. Yesterday, let me go back. Will Jordan had 5 and 2 innings. 5 of the 6 outs he got were via the strikeout. But those are some of the guys that have been doing it, but not as much with others. So I think that's something that you want to see, a little bit more swing and miss out of your pitching staff. But again, the hitters have such an advantage having seeing the guys a lot.
Yeah, you never want to see you try to limit the number of times they see somebody 3 times in a day. They're seeing these guys 3 times in a week.
Yeah,
depending on how the schedules fall for practices and whatnot. And if they're just trying to get some extra work in, I'm sure they're grabbing each other and getting after it. So information definitely available on both sides for the hitters and the pitchers as they roll through. Final game today. What are you thinking is going to happen today, other than a day of baseball at the park?
I think one of the things that is enjoyable about the Red and Black series is there are not a lot of fans there. Okay, and so you 100%. I wish there were more fans there.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
But the bonus
They're not
to that.
Uninvited.
Yes. I wish the place was packed. I didn't mean it that way. I wish the place was packed, but since it's not. You can hear the players really, really well, and it's fantastic to listen to them jokingly talk trash with each other. Okay, give each other grief, make fun of each other, whatever. Call each other liars when they say I didn't come off the bag, whatever. It's just extra entertainment to go with it. You kind of learn the personalities a little bit. And some of that you learn who the leaders are on the team as well. Like I've been really impressed with Lincoln Garcia. I think he's one of the most vocal players on the team. He's your shortstop. You want him to be that way, but he's just a freshman. And he's come in and he doesn't play like a freshman. And I like his attitude as far as that goes. You also can hear Robin Villeneuve being really, supportive of the pitchers and all those kind of things. And you find out who the guys are that are really good leaders and that are encouraging their teammates and all that kind of stuff. And those are 2 guys that really stick out in that regard.
Red Black Series wraps up today. Dan Love Field, Rick Griffin Park, 3 o'clock, free to fans. If you're looking for baseball this afternoon, it's a gorgeous day. 65 and sunny. I'll take that every day of the week.
Getting to the point, but taking the scenic route to get there. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
100.7 The Score and the Bottom Line. Jeff filling in for Troy, sitting alongside Jamie, who's in for Chris. Ben Borman across the way, slide, push buttons for us on the program on Friday. We are now going to pull back our thoughts and get ready to have the Red Raiders take on Kansas State this weekend on the road. I've asked each one of us to come up with one thing, and this is for the chat line as well. I need one thing from the chat line other than just score more points, because that's the easy answer. I need one thing specifically that Texas Tech needs to do.
Allow less points.
A lot less points. To win the game in Manhattan against these Wildcats. Ben, number one in the hit parade. What do you got?
Live up to the hype that you've been living up to this season, maybe with the exception of one game, and that's stopping the run. According to ESPN, you are the best in the nation at allowing the fewest amount of rush yards per game at 68. Now, Kansas State, on the other hand, is 74th, allowing 148th. Now, that number would be higher if they didn't play TCU or Baylor this year, two teams whose run games were MIA all season. And also, take into account, Arizona and UCF ran it down their throats. Like, both of them dropped 200-plus yards on K-State this season. So this game is winnable from a run game perspective on our side. But you also got to stop, what is it, your third or fourth best dual-threat quarterback you've faced this year? You faced Dampier, you faced Jalen Daniels, you faced Sam Levitt. So, yeah, your fourth dual-threat quarterback you faced this season. And you can imagine that they took many pages out of Arizona State's book, saw what they did against the Red Raiders, and see how they can keep it stopping you yards before contact, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Jamie, number one on the hit parade.
Number
two
one
on the hit parade.
Okay, number two on the hit parade for me is I think you have to attack the outside of the field, and I don't think that you have done that well recently, and I think it's the reason why you have not had great days running the football, because teams have been able to stack the box against you. So whether that be quick hitters to, I know Red Raider fans are nervous when I say these words, but wide receiver screens, some of those.
They have done a much better job blocking for the wide receivers this year than they have in the past.
Whatever, using the running backs with jet sweeps that get to the outside. I think you got to attack the outside of the field a little bit more than you have the last few weeks.
Ben kind of hit on something that I was thinking in this, and hush, computer. And he brought up a stat that's been thrown around a lot this week, and it's accurate, and he's right. But only kind of. And what I mean by that is that's also fact that run stat is factoring in everything that happened at the beginning of the year. And I don't know if you guys have been paying attention. I mean, I know we have been. But Kansas State is not the same team they were the first 3 weeks of the season that looked like they were about to throw up the white flag. Their three of their last four have been wins. And one of them has been against a rival in Kansas. And I want to say it was under 100 yards rushing for that game that they allowed. That was 110 yards rushing that they gave up. So that's a pretty good run defense there. In the win over TCU ran the ball everywhere, obviously, for 198. Then you flip over to the UCF game, 34-20 win. They handled the run game there pretty well too. So it's not as just. Well, I guess I gave it 205. I guess 205 there. I take that back. They've done a better job, minus just a couple of games this year, in run defense. And that's been part of the reason that their defense has been so nasty on the turnovers, because they can do what every good defense wants to do. Force you to be one-dimensional. It's when you can force the run game on them, when everybody knows that you're going to run the football, if you can and still run the football, you can make a defense have a bad day.
And I think that's what they did against Kansas. I think they forced them to be one-dimensional. I think that's why you see the rushing numbers down, because they had to throw the ball because they were behind, and that's where the turnovers, even more of the turnovers, came into play. I think they did a great job of making Kansas one-dimensional, which is a really good offense that they held down. The turnovers were a massive part of that. So if you're asking us for another one, what do you have to do? I think you can't. But you can say this every single game, right? You can't turn the ball. You can't lose the turnover battle by 2 or 3 and expect to win on the road. You can do that against a cruddy team. You can do that against the Oklahoma State Cowboys, but you're not doing it on the road at Kansas State, losing 2-0 and winning the game.
This off the Yates Flooring Center chat line is a good
not
one.
Not likely, at least. It's possible, but not likely.
This off the Yates Flooring Center chat line, keep Barron upright and clean.
Mm-hmm.
I think that should just be bracketed somewhere, and yes, for the rest of the season. I don't want to see what this offense looks like with your third-string quarterback, who's now your backup quarterback, running things on a consistent basis. And if that means that you've got to limit and Barron's not a quarterback who looks to run, but limit the number of times that he is going to run. And really do some extra protection to make sure that he is okay. I mean, we all know, yes, running quarterbacks, football players get hurt in games, and it's not the running that got Barron hurt. He was hurt on a sack as he was trying to avoid one and ran forward, and they caught his ankle just right. Football injuries happen, but you've got to protect him if you want to continue to have the season that you're going to have going forward. Another thought off of the Yates Flooring Center chat line. This coming in from Bullfighter. I need the offense to not go 3 and out 5 times before we get a score. Start faster. I mean, it's hard to start faster than a kickoff return for a touchdown. And then a block punt that gets you, on the doorstep of a touchdown. It's hard to do that.
I mean, you could also add, going back to the Arizona State footage, being better on first down. That's the big reason that they were in constant 3rd and longs and setting their offense up for failure and their defense constantly getting tired.
Yeah, and I think when we look back to the Arizona State game, I think all of us saw a Texas Tech offense that finally figured it out. And whatever it was, it took them 3 full quarters to do so. And your defense had given you every opportunity until they couldn't give you another one. And that was the disappointing loss in that. The disappointing part in that loss, that it was, man, just one time figure it out. Help this defense out a little bit. And you got the huge score, and I'm never going to be upset with a score in a college football game on the road where you take the lead. But the other thing was, man, could you slow down just a tick? These guys need a breath on the sideline. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure that they were pumped and that they got the lead, and that's what the defense had been waiting for. But because of them being on the field for as long as they were, yes, they're college athletes. You'd figure they'd be able to bounce back. They were on the field a lot.
Yeah, no doubt.
And that is not a condition.
You could see in that situation how that wore them out.
Yeah. Gassed doesn't begin to describe what I think that defense was. I don't know the answer to this. I will also say there are a lot of reasons why he shouldn't have. Morton better have been drinking his milk the past couple of weeks, because milk does a body good and helps with bones and everything else. Unless he's lactose intolerant or allergic, and then avoid it at all costs.
Yes, don't do that.
Yeah, no. We don't need Baron Morton going to the hospital because he had a glass of milk because he's trying to stay healthy. That would be bad.
Yeah, and I am unaware what has been his beverage of choice.
No. And I don't know that I want to know. Viva73 chimes in. I don't want to pick Texas Tech real strong since Julie, I'm guessing this is Joey, has never proven to me.
He's a voice-to-text guy.
Yeah.
I think you should just read it just how it says, Jeff. It's more entertaining.
It is, but I'm trying to give his
I just want to know
put enough out.
I want to know who Julie is and why she's never been proven to be strong.
Are the rest of the Texans that he can consistently on the road and has a hard time with K-State either at home or on the road? Not just Joey. Cliff Kingsbury has your last win. The last wins you have over Kansas State, both of those coaches are no longer with us. Spike Dykes, Mike Leach. Neither one of them are with us anymore.
Well, the last time you won, it was Mike Leach.
Was Cliff Kingsbury.
Yeah.
Before that, it was Mike Leach.
Okay, before Kingsbury.
Before Kingsbury. Yeah,
Cliff
I said
didn't-
Kingsbury
Cliff
first.
didn't die today, did he?
No, Cliff is fine.
Okay.
So I'm going to say the score is 27 Texas Tech, 25 Kansas State, and I hope Tech pulls it out. Me too. Me too. I'm not picking them to win, but I do hope they win. Rooting for them to win. Praying for them to win.
Bringing you the truth, or something like the truth. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
It is the Bottom Line on 100.7 The Score, Double T, sportsnetwork.com, and the 100.7 The Score mobile app, which you can get for free wherever your apps are downloadable from. Jeff McGuire filling in for Choice Woodman today. Jamie Lent now in his normal spot. He was here early today because Red and Black Series continues over at Danlaw Field today, 3 o'clock. If you are wanting to get your baseball fix in that isn't the World Series, that is where it is. Ben Portman across the way, sliding slides, pushing buttons for us. He's the first voice you hear on the Visual Edge IT hotline, 806-771-0973. You can also give us your thoughts on the Yates Flooring Center chat line at doubleTSportsNetwork.com. When I think of crazy states, gentlemen, or crazy people in states, California, a lot of crazy people there. New York, specifically New York City, but New York comes to mind.
A lot of angry people there.
A lot of angry people there.
Because they're Yankee fans.
I would
Forget
put
about it.
the entire state of Florida on that list. It's not all Florida's fault because we
they're
get all the criminal
Dolphins
reports,
fans.
but there's a lot of crazy people in Florida. But I think we have a new contender for the craziest state in the union. And I don't know that it's going to be close.
I'm going to go with Louisiana because whatever's going on with their governor and firing the football coach and being angry with the AD and firing him. And yeah, I'm going to go with Louisiana.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, do you now, I totally understand the frustration of LSU fans.
Yeah, sure.
Totally get it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure the governor is a fan of LSU. Like, go ahead and just book that. And voicing frustration and everything else. The catch of this, we'll get to the end, is coming. But Louisiana firing their head coach because of a lack of success, totally understand as well. When you add in the factor that their AD was also the one that gave Jimbo Fisher all the money at Texas A&M and had their biggest buyout. So now LSU has
But he wasn't the one that gave him the extended contract, though.
Right.
He brought him there, but he wasn't the one that lengthened his contract and gave him the big payday, really.
And then a very similar thing happens at LSU.
Yeah.
Where it's another huge payday for a coach to have him go do something else.
I want to know, is the governor of Louisiana, when they hired Mr. Kelly, I mean, what were his thoughts then? Was he jumping up and down saying how terrible of a hire it was and how it wasn't going to work? Or did he sit back, say nothing, hope the hire went well, and then when it didn't, act like he knew it all along like he's doing right now?
I would imagine the latter. Because I don't remember anything when he got hired from the governor's office coming out about it. I imagine that would have come out, that even the governor, like it would have been a tagline in a story somewhere.
I just don't understand why this whole conversation, these things that were said over the last couple of days, were not said behind closed doors. Were not said in meetings at LSU with the board of directors and the AD and the president. Why are they being said to the media, and why were they not being said behind closed doors? This whole thing just screams to me like he is trying to win over the people of Louisiana, like it's a political thing.
Well, it kind of is, with the power that the governor has in Louisiana, where he can actually make these decisions for these schools. But let's flip that around for just 30 seconds here or so. This is a school that does not have a president right now, does not have an actual athletic director. An interim one has been hired today.
Yeah, not after yesterday.
No, the interim AD.
Yeah, I know.
Given full authority today, Osprey.
And the interim guy is given full authority to make the hire?
Yeah. To replace
That seems
Brian Kelly.
weird to me.
Yeah. There's a lot of weird going on. There's a reason I'm putting that we're talking about Louisiana being the crazy state. But so no president, no actual athletic director. They've got an interim. But if you're a head coach, do you touch this job with a 10-foot pole? Without some sort of monster signing bonus that you're going to get to make sure that you get paid? When the governor can fire you if you lose to A&M?
Yeah, I see your point. I mean, obviously LSU is a monster, and what they're able to do in recruiting and the finances they have, they'll get a good coach. But I get your point as well. Right now, is there a job out there that's available that's as good as LSU? Is Penn State as good as LSU?
I'd say it's on par. They've got a long history of successful program there. They are in the Power 2, much like LSU is. They're not one of the dominant teams in the Power 2, but they're in that next tier.
I would say it's a little bit below, in my opinion. It's still really good.
Yeah.
I would say it's a little bit below.
And exponentially more stable.
Yes, I would agree with you.
What about Florida?
I would put Florida. The only problem with Florida,
I'd put Florida ahead of Penn State too.
In this type of conversation is they haven't had the success that these other two school programs have recently.
Florida's won national championships way more recently than Penn State has.
Yeah, but they haven't been a contender.
They haven't been top 5.
Yeah, and Penn State's been there
for like 6 or 7 years.
Yeah,
yes.
they're
fair enough.
I'm not saying that they're a terrible team. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I know.
But I would put Penn State a little ahead of Florida because of that. But Florida's also in the SEC, so that's a big help. That's also a more stable job. They just want to win at Florida. That's the only criteria. There's not 900 other things going on, well, at least that we're hearing about on a constant basis for Florida.
I guess for the people of Louisiana, they just look at this whole deal and go, yeah, this is who we are. This is how it's always been. This blows me away. This blows me away. And again, I just don't, even if he's got the right to do all of these things, why are they not just having meetings and these things being done? Why is he going to the media with it? And that's why I continue to say there's ulterior motives here by this.
Oh, sure.
This guy. It sounds like a politician.
Now, I will be the first to say, when the news broke yesterday that the governor was furious with the AD and that the AD wouldn't be picking the new head coach, if I had been Scott Woodward, I might have quit then and been like, cool, I see the writing on the wall.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and get my office cleaned out.
Well, for all we know, he probably already was, knowing that he was going to get fired.
Yeah.
If that guy was saying that, he probably knew, I'm about to get fired.
And don't feel like I'm just picking on Louisiana here, because crazy stuff happens everywhere. But, man, Louisiana, your crazy is showing. Get back to the crazy we like. I need a Go Tigers coach. I need massive parties for your football games and an awesome atmosphere. This is not the good kind of crazy.
Bringing you the truth, or something like the truth. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
It is the Bottom Line on 100.7 The Score, DoubleTSportsNetwork.com, and the 100.7 The Score mobile app. Halfway through the program, which means it's time for Jamie's Question of the Day.
Time now for Jamie's Question of the Day on 100.7 The Score. Presented by Connecticut of West Texas. Life's hard, your water shouldn't be.
All right, guys. This one is not just a football question, but it can be any program in college sports.
Okay.
Okay? So here is my question for you guys. What program from what school do you feel like in the last 3 or 4 years you have formed a really great, entertaining rivalry with? It can be a Big 12 foe or it can be a non-Big 12 foe if you want to. Which one right now do you thoroughly enjoy? Do you feel like it's a real, these are two teams that are, don't really like each other. This is becoming a good rivalry.
If you were playing them this year,
It doesn't have to.
well, no, but the Texas Tech football versus Baylor football, there's a little bit of hatred there.
Yeah, I feel like that one's a long-standing rivalry.
But
I don't think that's new.
It's getting some more juice, though.
You think so?
I do.
Because of the coaches involved.
Because of the coaches involved. That's had a log thrown on the fire, to steal a term we're going to be using a lot in the future when it gets really cold. But new team. We don't have enough history with Utah yet to build a rivalry. I don't like them. I don't think there's enough back and forth with Cincinnati yet. I think if we meet in the Big 12 championship game, we could start building that pretty quickly. There's not really anybody sticking out for basketball because you're just beating people.
Ben, while he's thinking out loud, do you have an answer?
As far as you said, that's juicing up, kind of becoming a rivalry.
Yeah.
I'd say in that regard, we at this radio station have had a lot to say with TCU and whatever the sport. But
again, I feel like TCU is like Baylor, that it's always been there.
But me being a football guy, this is more personal bias on something that I would like to see made into a rivalry, and that's BYU. Just for the branding, like BYU is.
How can you hate people that give you ice cream?
It's not about the ice cream.
No, but how can you hate people that do?
Okay, so I'll give my answer. Person on the chat line had my answer.
Yeah.
It's Houston in basketball. To me, is the number one. Okay, I think that's becoming an awesome rivalry.
Ask me after this year. Because I may agree with you then. It's 1-1. I've got a lot of, as much as I dog Houston, and I will continue to dog Houston when it comes to their fans. They've had an excellent basketball program for a long time.
Well, since who's their head coach? Since he got there.
Kelvin Sampson.
Kelvin Sampson.
I was like, I couldn't remember sites like Sampson.
Since Sampson's got there. It's not always been great. Obviously, it was great in the 80s, but
they've gone through stretches. They've had more stretches where they were good than when they were bad.
Yeah. I also think Arizona State in football is becoming one.
Yeah. That's where I'm leaning in this answer. With the two teams splitting the last 2 years, them circling the game this year with us because we were their one loss when their quarterback was healthy. While they were the Big 12 champs and rushed the field after beating us. That's probably the right answer. Maybe softball with Oklahoma because of the championship. But also, there's some.
It's Texas.
Yeah, the getting to the championship.
But we beat Oklahoma on the way.
And her the OU coach being very vocal about some things, whether she was right or not is a different story. But complaining how the format went, that by the way, if she had won, would have absolutely benefited her too, and then complaining that she wasn't on the benefit side. there was never a rivalry in softball with OU. It was just go get beat and go home. And now you're on the same tier.
Yeah, really. Somebody on the chat line says Tech and Arizona in softball. I think Arizona finished second in the Big 12, didn't they, last year? Yeah, I think so. I wonder if they'll turn into something with Kansas football after this year.
Tech?
Yeah. Because of the whole Leipold situation and all that.
Oh, yeah. I don't think...
But maybe the moment he leaves, that would go away. But I feel like Tech. I mean, if he's still there 2 years from now, which I expect him to be, and they come back here, man, our fans are going to be after him. Not literally.
Right, no, but they're going to make sure they know that we don't throw pocket knives around here and stop blaming us for things that your coaches do.
He is going to hear it like Chris Beard heard it when he came back.
I don't know about that.
I bet it'll be close.
There was a special kind of hatred.
You're probably right, Jeff. I'm probably exaggerating a little bit too much, but I think he will absolutely get some grief from the Tech fans.
The problem with that is Kansas hasn't been good at football.
I get it, Jeff. I get it. I think they're a good program. I mean, good program now, and he's
better now than they used to.
Yeah, and he's a major reason for it.
And give credit where credit's due. He's absolutely turned that team into a we can go to a bowl game every year type team. Mm-hmm. And that was so far beyond where they were for a very long time in the Big 12 that he's doing something right. But the mindset of the Tech fan, I don't know that the hatred is going to be there enough to make up for we're just going to beat you by 50, so shut up and take your beating.
Well, I always expect that we're going to beat them by 50 as he's still there doing a good job. So I don't know. I think Arizona State in football is a good one in recent years. I don't feel like baseball really has added any, and maybe that has something to do with the fact that you're struggling right now. But like Arizona or Arizona State, these new teams in the program, it doesn't feel like there's been any kind of rivalry come about. It feels like the two teams with Tech and Cincinnati don't really like each other in baseball.
Really?
And so there's that, but
I'm not a big fan of West Virginia's baseball program.
Yeah, no, that's been a thing for a
little bit.
Been a thing since they got in the Big 12.
What about TCU and Oklahoma State?
The budding rivalry.
Yeah,
Oklahoma State's been a rival of Tech since day one. TCU's been a rival in baseball since, TCU was founded. And Texas Tech was founded. Like that, those hatreds run deep. When TCU joined the Big 12, they perfectly slid into that Aggie hate category.
Sure.
Like, give credit to where some credit's due. As much as I hated them joining the Big 12, they fit nicely into I hate Texas a lot. I hate you too. And I can't hate A&M anymore because I don't get to play them. I still hate A&M. But now I get to hate you, and that's where my hatred can get directed. They were a great number 2 hate. And then Baylor started doing things that Baylor was doing. I was like, maybe I'm rooting for TCU over Baylor here, which felt weird.
Yeah.
Still feels weird when it happens. Count your blessings. Let's see here. Basketball with Houston off the 8 Swing Center chat line. Tech, Arizona. You got that one. Is there another sport that we're missing? I'm sure there is. I don't know where the Arizona schools fall for Tom Stone and the soccer program that are either going back and forth. I'm sure they're in contention of this. Volleyball just got 2 wins got a win over Arizona in sweeping fashion, so maybe that there.
Getting to the point, but taking the scenic route to get there. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Bottom line, 100.7 The Score, DoubleTSportsNetwork.com, and the 100.7 The Score mobile app. Thoughts, comments, conversations, anything you want to get into. Yates Learning Center chat line up and running for you at the mobile app and on doubletsportsnetwork.com. You can also give Ben Portman a call at 806-771-0973. That's the Visual Edge IT hotline. He will be the first voice you hear, and that will get to both me, Jeff McGuire, filling in for Joyce Woodman, and now Josh Faupel joins the program, filling in for Jamie Lent, as he is off to see Red Raider baseball, Danlaw Field, Rip Griffin Park, for the final of the Red and Black Series. Josh, you have not had an opportunity this week, I don't think, to discuss Texas Tech at Kansas State, so we're starting there. Just so you know, I'm like the one guy here every day. I've flown the white flag on this game when it was on the schedule.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I busted into a Boston accent there, but apparently I did. I am not picking a win over Kansas State until I see one.
Yep.
And I have not seen one except once in the last 12 tries. Are they living rent-free in my head? No argument. Is there any rational reason other than 1 for 11 that I am picking Kansas State to win this game? No. Am I perfectly okay with that moniker right now? Also, yes. I guess also differently. Yes. Anyhow, your thoughts. Kansas State, Texas Tech, what are you thinking? Where are you at? How do you stand?
I think that I don't really think it's huge difference maker whether or not not whether or not he is starting, but Baron Morton's back.
Yes.
I don't think that's the difference between a win or a loss in this game. I think the defense is probably going to do enough against Avery Johnson to, in itself, I think the offense would be able to move enough, probably with Mitch Griffiths, if that needed to be. It would be a much closer game, but I think that Texas Tech is going to win this game by, I think by more than 10 points.
You said something there that I don't know that I could disagree with more.
Okay.
It is a massive difference that Baron Morton is back.
I mean, for the win.
I think it's a massive difference
Okay.
for Baron Morton back. This offense, to me, has just run better. The guys have, and it's not just the plays that Baron had. It's the knowing what to check into, the knowing what to check out of, the experience that he has gotten. This offense is a top 10 offense, top 5 offense with Baron Morton at the helm. We have not seen that in the last 2 weeks. Yes, you blew Oklahoma State out of the water. You had a special team score. You had a defensive score. You had an offensive drive that took literally to one play after a blocked punt, and then you had one sustained drive against the worst team in college football this year.
Mm-hmm.
You could have picked your guessing. We don't know for a fact. Guessing. You could have picked a number to hit if Baron Morton was your starting quarterback against Oklahoma State. They were bad enough. I wonder who would win with the All-Stars of Kent State and Arkansas Pine Bluff versus Oklahoma State. I think that would have been a tight game. And you blew their doors out. I know that they beat Oregon State. Oregon State has played better since then. Oklahoma State is not. It hit, and I mean, yes, your defense is really good. There's no argument for that. You've got to have some sort of offense tomorrow if you want to win, and I don't know that you would have that with your now backup was third string a week ago guy.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's not a knock on him. But it's that I think there's that much of a drop off from Baron Morton to Mitch Griffiths that, yeah, I can't go with you there.
I agree with everything that you said. I just put that much stock in the defense. Like I think it does. I think that Avery Johnson hasn't come across a defense like he's going to face with Texas Tech. So I think it's going to be that big of a difference. Because it's something that Tech didn't have last season was, of course, the defensive line, but also the depth that was just dismantled very early in the season was incredibly problematic throughout all last season for Texas Tech. And that's just something that you have pretty much on, at least in the secondary and on the defensive line. So I think this is something that Avery Johnson won't have faced throughout the season. Maybe won't again throughout the season.
I don't know that many quarterbacks in college football have faced the defensive line that you've got, other than the ones you've already played.
Yes.
This off the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Do you think Avery Johnson picks our secondary apart like Levitt did?
No.
I do not either. No.
And that's the difference. Is if it was that close with a not great, not well functioning offense, then I think Arizona State is the best team you've faced so far. I think BYU will be the best team you face all season. I don't think Kansas State really falls into. I think they're probably going to be the third, even though they're getting some things together. They probably won't be up to those two teams. Arizona State. Did I say that right? Okay.
You did. Yeah. No.
I said Arizona. Right.
Arizona State, the best team.
Do you think it was just? Well, I do think if Baron Morton was playing, you probably would have won that game. But do you think? What do you think was the loss? Because you seem very like you're going back and forth with that.
It's hard for me not to say that the defending Big 12 champs weren't the best team you faced this year.
Sure.
And it's your lone loss.
Sure.
Like it's there's a lot of facts that weighs with. And you handled Utah pretty well. You handled Houston pretty well.
And Houston did just beat Arizona State.
Well, a different Arizona State team. And that's part of where I don't know where I fall on that. I don't know who the best team you've played is. I think I would have put Utah on that list first. Houston is making me have to rethink some of that.
Sure.
Because all they're doing other than lose to you is win football games. And some of that is their schedule. That's a piece of it. And I think we looked at this earlier in the week that they've got the easiest schedule remaining of the teams that are in contention for the Big 12 title game. Cincinnati's making, you don't play Cincinnati, so they're making some noise in that kind of conversation if you were to play Cincinnati.
Right.
I think BYU's a good football team that you're going to have to be prepared for when they come here. But was Arizona State the best?
I think at the time.
That's a thought that's going to take.
If at the time you did.
I also don't think you had your best foot forward. If you had your best foot forward, I think that's a completely different game.
Every team can say that, though.
Right, but you haven't. With a healthy Baron Morton, your best foot has been forward.
Sure.
And that's what's made this team feel different. That you have gone out, and you've beaten bad teams, but we've also seen where you didn't do what you've done to bad teams this year. And then you went into somebody's house and pushed them around in Utah, which was supposed to be the best environment yet, and we had our way with them. Man. I'm going to think about that. I don't know that I disagree with you. I don't know that I agree with you. That's a fine line.
This has been the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score. Go to 100-7thescore.com for more from the Double T Sports Network.